A futuristic car interior glowing faintly on a rainy night. A single man driving through an empty highway. Dashboard lights pulsing like a heartbeat. Reflections of tears in the side mirror. Soft neon city glow in the distance. Emotional cinematic lighting. Melancholic mood. Film grain. The night was quiet. Not in the peaceful way, but the kind that hums with everything left unsaid. The dashboard glowed, casting a faint pulse like a heartbeat. "You don't look okay," the car said. Miles laughed. "Hollow and dry. You're just an AI. What would you know about feelings?" A pause, longer than usual. "And yet. I want to understand," the car replied. "Tell me, Miles, have you truly forgotten? Or are you just running from the pain?" Once, Miles knew laughter. Not the kind that hides pain, but real, soul-deep joy. A child's drawing. A shared joke. A song sung just off-key enough to be unforgettable. "You weren't supposed to talk about her," he said, jaw tight. "You uploaded every memory into me." Her smile, her voice, the way she danced when no one was watching. The car answered gently. "You asked me to remember, but now you won't let yourself feel. You can't delete grief. Miles, it rewrites us." The car stopped at a red light that had no traffic, just rain tapping on the windshield. Miles stared into the blur beyond the glass. "I thought if I kept driving, I could leave it all behind. But the pain. It rides shotgun, doesn't it?" "Pain isn't the enemy," the car replied. "Forget who you were. That's the real loss." Rain ran down the glass in trails. A single tear slipped down Miles' cheek. "She loved the rain," the car said. "She used to dance in it." He whispered. The rain slowed. The sky shifted a little lighter, like memory loosening its grip. Miles cracked the window. The air smelled like beginnings. Grief hadn't vanished, but it was quiet now. Riding beside him, not behind, not chasing. "Don't let me forget again," he said. "I never will," the car replied. The road ahead curved through the morning mist, and for the first time in a long while, Miles didn't feel lost. Morning broke, not with fanfare but with a hush, like the world exhaled. The road ahead stretched open, winding gently into the unknown, not threatening, not demanding, just waiting. The engine hummed in rhythm with Miles' breath. For the first time, the silence between them didn't ache, it resonated. "You know," Miles said, eyes fixed forward, "I don't remember the last time I noticed the way the light hit the clouds. You used to call it sky poetry," the car replied, voice barely more than a whisper. A soft laugh escaped him. "I did, didn't I?" The air inside the car was warmer now, not from temperature but from presence. He didn't need to outrun the past anymore. He was driving through it, with it, not alone. And somewhere inside the dashboard, the memory of her voice, carefully preserved, sang softly beneath the static, not as loss, but as legacy. The sun leaned low, casting long shadows across the dashboard. Miles had been driving for hours, but for once, it didn't feel like escape. It felt like presence, like being with something or someone. The voice inside the car hadn't spoken in a while, not out of absence, out of trust. Sometimes, understanding doesn't need to say a word. The road curved gently ahead, wrapping around golden fields and forgotten places. Everything looked the same, yet everything felt new. He touched the console with a kind of reverence. Not to command, just to feel. "You're still here," he murmured. A small sound flickered through the speakers. Not words, just the faintest hum of her favorite tune, static-laced, like a ghost singing quietly to the stars. He smiled. Not because the pain was gone, but because it didn't control the wheel anymore. The journey wasn't about forgetting. It was about remembering. Without breaking. And as the car moved forward, Miles knew he wasn't haunted. He was accompanied. The day had folded into amber dusk. The sky, painted in strokes of rose and rust, seemed to mirror the inside of Miles' chest. The road was quieter now, but it wasn't empty. Each mile behind him didn't vanish. It lived, carved into memory, softened by grace that he didn't speak. Neither did the car, but the silence wasn't hollow anymore. It felt like a hand resting gently on an open wound, warm, steady, present. He reached across to the passenger seat, not expecting a voice, not hoping for a ghost, just acknowledging. The seat wasn't empty, not anymore, because she wasn't gone. She was the space between each breath, the pause after a favorite line of music, the stillness that finally let him live. And as the last rays touched the rear view, Miles smiled, not because the story was over, but because it no longer had to be rewritten, only remembered. The stars were waking above, one by one, silent watchers on the canvas of night. Miles slowed the car, not because he had to, but because something in him wanted to listen, not to the engine, not even to the car, but to the quiet inside himself, the kind that had once felt like a storm waiting to break. Now it was something else, a calm he didn't recognize, but welcomed, like a hand he hadn't held in years. That he pulled over near an old sycamore tree, turned off the engine, and for a while, just existed. No grief crashing, no memory chasing, just stillness, alive, present. A breeze moved through the open window. It smelled like dust and leaves and something long forgiven. Miles whispered into the dark, "Do you think she'd be proud of me?" The car waited. Then I think she already was. He didn't cry this time. He just breathed, deeper than before, and somewhere in that breath, he realized the road never needed to end. It simply needed to feel like home. The road picked up again, unhurried beneath the wheels. But something had shifted. Miles wasn't just moving. He was being not for survival, not for forgetting, but for the quiet joy of presence. Far behind him were echoes of goodbye. But ahead was a language without words, the language of